y'all, what is up? Today I thought I would do like a little unboxing, and then I basically filmed the whole, well, not the whole process. I filmed little bits and snippets of the process of me making my A5TN, and I thought I would film this, one, because I thought it would be cool to watch, and two, because when I was looking, I couldn't find very many like making traveler's notebooks. I found a bunch of leather work, but not a lot of traveler's notebooks specific. So I thought I would actually show you the unboxing, like how it was all packaged. This is the first time I've ever bought leather. I did buy from a Canadian company based in Saskatchewan. It is called OALeatherSupply. I'll leave the link for it down below, and I'll link his Instagram too. So this is the SB Foot Tramper Hazelnut. And I bought this because it was on sale and I wanted to try it, and I liked the color and it looked like Dormouse from Shakespeare, and I'm obsessed currently. So I'm not sure if you can tell by my lousy first ever ASMR attempt, we'll call it, but this leather is very, very matte, and the only way I can explain it is it feels like suede, and it is so incredibly soft and floppy, and I just absolutely love it. It's beautiful. I love the color. So yeah, that was my little unboxing. I thought I'd show you guys how it was packaged and everything. I did buy 3 square feet, so each of these is about a square foot. It was perfect. It's still perfect. I still have some left. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that I've actually already created 3 traveler's notebooks. I created this A5 one. I made myself just a simple standard one, and I actually recently just made myself a week's traveler's notebook, and I have 2 on my mat right now, just smaller ones that I'm making. So yeah. So, little trick, I'll give you guys my little tricks. This piece of cardstock that I cut out, I actually made on Silhouette. So I put my dimensions in, I gave it like a curved corner, and this is how big I wanted it, and I knew this is how big I wanted it, and I knew how far apart I wanted my holes, so I put my holes in there. So I have the whole cover basically laid out in this like cardstock template, basically, because I couldn't find any templates online. So I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna make my own. So I made my own template, and I actually made my own template pockets for pockets as well, because I knew I wanted not a detachable, an attached pen loop. So I knew I wanted my pen loop to be attached, and then I was gonna fold it over, and then I was gonna sew it in with the pocket. So I knew that's how I wanted it. I kind of knew how I wanted to design it, and I just went for it in Silhouette. I find I'm getting really, really good at doing things digitally and then bringing it over to the physical. So here's my dingbats. Before I went any further, I wanted to make sure that there was enough room around my dingbats cover, because I wanted it if I wanted it to be able to be a folio if I chose so later, which it can be, which is really, really nice. I love the Dingbats journal. I think if I get another journal after I'm done that one, and then my one from Walmart, which fits in there as well because it's smaller, I think I'll just keep getting Dingbats. I really like the paper in it. I like the quality of the notebook. So yeah. So this is like the base of my notebook. It's the full like front and back, and you guys know, if you're watching this, you know what a traveler's notebook is. And the leather kit I got from Amazon. I'll link it. This was in it. I don't actually know what this is for. I used it to round corners, and it took me a lot of practice to try and get it. I actually use a poker chip now because it's not as thick, it's not as tall, so it's easier to get the cutting this Fiskars rotary blade around. So I watched a few, like I found one that was like 6 years old, a tutorial, and the way she did it, she took little bits and pieces off when she was rounding her corner, and that worked way better. So definitely take little bits and pieces. And I will try to link below any tutorials that I found helpful and useful and that had talking in it, because a lot of them were like sped up with music and nobody was explaining to me what I needed to do. So I really went at this with a lot of trial and error, and it just kind of worked. And this is my first ever TN that I've ever made. But you guys know me, I'm constantly creating. I'm a pretty creative person, and I've always kind of been a creative person. So it just kind of worked for me. I did screw up, and you'll see I left it in for you guys specifically. I screwed up on one of these pockets, and I'm sure that you guys know. You can guess which one I screwed up on. Hint, it's the harder one. But honestly, if that's the only casualty, I screwed up on one pocket and I nicked a nail. If that's the only casualty of my first leather creation, I'm good, I'll take it. But yeah, so I tried to always be cutting on these, I feel like they call it the skin side. So the back side. I tried to always be cutting on the back side. And you'll notice that when I first start, I'm really, really slanty. Like I slant my rotary blade really, really bad. I have since noticed that about myself, and I've stopped doing that. Because what happens is you have a slant of leather now instead of like a straight, if you were to cut it straight up and down, like it slants. It just does weird things. I'm noticing on a few of my pockets, which I'll show you later, that I was slanted when I cut a few of them, so they don't sit quite right. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. And this acrylic ruler and the mat and the Fiskars rotary blade all came together from Amazon. I'll have that link down below as well, because I love this cutting mat. I love the ruler. I love that you can see through the ruler. I hate a ruler you can't see through. Like, what's the point? And the blade is really good. I have a rotary blade that I just like bought from the dollar store, which is just as good, but I can't find it anywhere. Like it gone. It's gone. So I bought a new one. It's fine. I made sure to really pay attention to what corners I needed to round too, which is an added bonus of screwing up. But I knew I needed to pay attention to that already, and I still screwed up the pocket, so, you know, happens. It happens. It really, really does. And I always tried to find, like, a flat edge of this leather so I didn't have to cut, like, these little slivers. I tried to put my pattern as close to the straightest edge that I could get, so I really, really didn't want to waste. It was on sale, like I said, and it was actually only like $5 for square feet or so. I paid more for shipping than I did for the leather. I paid $40, like total $40.62 or something like that, but I only paid $15 for the leather, or $16 for the leather. Like, it was really, really on sale. It was a good price. And I just really like it. And it's kind of like if I was going to compare it to Foxy Fix, I would compare it to sugar leather, because it's floppy, but it still has some structure, and it's really heavy like sugar leather. There's no pull up, but it scratches super easily, and the scratch stays. Like, you can't like rub out the scratch. Some leathers I know you can rub it out with like oils and stuff, but it's really, really matte. Like I said, it's basically like a suede, and I just love it. I love the like soft brown color, and like I said earlier, I was going to buy a Chic Sparrow Dormouse, and I fell in love with the color. I fell in love with the look of the leather. Like, I just fell in love with all of it. I liked March Hare too, but Dormouse was like the one that caught my heart. But I put it into my cart. I put the A5 into my cart, the deluxe with the Cascade pockets and the pen loop. And it was $200 Canadian. It was $200 Canadian. So I've been trying to follow like this minimalist not even like minimalist lifestyle, but this kind of lifestyle where I really, really think about what I'm purchasing. And one of the tidbits is wait 24 hours before you buy. And you know, like I had it in my cart and I was like, no, like I think I'm going to use some of my Christmas money. I'm just going to, you know, I really, really just want a cover for my bullet journal. I enjoy having the leather cover. I enjoy having a traveler's notebook. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy it. And then I was like, well, I know how to sew. I can make a junk journal. I can like make things. So like why couldn't I craft with leather? Basically was my thing. But for me, because traveler's notebooks are so expensive, I thought, well, leather has to be so expensive. And what I found out is really that when you're buying a traveler's notebook, you are buying all of the love and the creativity and the work that people put in to the traveler's notebook, which I 100% will do. But I've done that for so many years now that I'm like, you know what? I have some time now in my life, so like why couldn't I make that? And I just set out this challenge for myself and I was like, I'm going to just try it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try some cheap leather. I found a Canadian maker, so I thought I won't get dinged on duties over the border or whatever. And I can support another Canadian and, you know, it'll save me some money. Honest to God, it'll save me some money. And the other $150 or whatever that I was going to put into a traveler's notebook, I can put towards debt. And I get some of my creativity out of my body, which needs to happen. Oh my God, I did this the wrong way. Fuck. Back. I knew I got too excited. Shite. Okay. So that means I need to do it up here. Fuck. Sucks. Oh God. It's like a week later and I'm still laughing at that. I thought I would leave that in so you guys could see that like shit just happens. It just does. And when it does, you just like start over. You made your mistake. You learned your lesson. You do the right thing now. And that's what I did. I was like, oh, okay, I know what I'm doing wrong now. I'm going to flip this template over, you know. So if that was my only casualty, so I'll take it. But yeah, I just kind of started over. And yeah, I am no way, shape, or form telling you guys this story either to like badmouth Shakespeare. I love their stuff. I love their stuff. And like Imperfectly Perfect, it's the same thing. I went on, it was $200 Canadian for an A5, and I would gladly pay either of those $200. But I was like, I think I can do it though. And I just like believed in myself and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it because like, why not? And I don't know, like, I think that's why I make so many bullet journals because I need this creative outlet. I think that's why I started making stickers, need the creative outlet, you know. I needed it. And I mean, proof is in the pudding. It took me 2 days to make this. And, you know, like not a full 2 days. Like I took some breaks and stuff. And the next morning after I sewed the edges and stuff, I woke up and my thumb and my first finger were so sore and swollen from just pulling the needle through. It was hilarious. Like I didn't even take a break for myself. So yeah, so I cut my pockets out. I made sure I was cutting on the skin side. I made sure the second time that I was cutting it the right way. I tried a few things to do this circle, but after a little while, I just felt confident with the rotary blade, and I didn't actually end up tracing anything. I tried with this little mini candle that I had, and I tried to do it with my X-Acto knife. I thought maybe I'd have a little more precision, but the rotary blader, jeez. The rotary blade was way sharper and it cut through in like one smooth motion. I just made sure I went slowly and just kind of focused on what I was doing, kind of thing. And it worked really, really well with the rotary blade. And you will see how this turns into a pen loop. I basically just like fold it over, and I just made it big enough for one of my ballpoint pens. That's what I've been loving in my bullet journal for the past 3 months. So that's what I made it for. And yeah, the what is that called? I literally just said the word. My X-Acto knife is not sharp enough. It's from the dollar store. It didn't work. I use it all the time, so it's like really, really dull. But I basically just use it for washi, so I don't really need it to be sharp. But I kind of like tore up the leather trying to use my X-Acto knife, so maybe learn from my mistakes and don't do that. But once I had that first one out and I saw that I kind of like wrecked it, and the burnishing tool did not work on this leather because it's like a soft, almost hairy. It's basically, it's smooth, like there's no cleanup or anything, but because it's like hairy, like it kind of, like when I did that, it broke apart. So that's why I brought the vacuum out. I thought I'd keep that little tidbit in for you guys too. But yeah, I just went in with my rotary blade after, and it worked way better. Like, see, and I just kind of like moved with it. I moved my whole body. And when I needed to move the leather, I moved the leather. And that worked way better than trying to like cut away with the X-Acto knife. And that was my husband asking me if this chicken would be better. And it was. I said yes. We made like stir fry, and I made myself some slow cooker chicken. He does not like slow cooker chicken, so we had a thing of 2 chicken out before that, and that had 3 pieces in it. So real life, y'all. Like, I'm leaving it in here. There's my face. You guys get a full view of all my tattoos. I had so many kids today asking about my tattoos. Like, it was just one of those days where like every single class there was kids with questions, and you know, they all know me. They've known me. This is my 2nd year going to this school, and a lot of them know that I have tattoos. But one kid that I even taught, he was in my homeroom all last year. He's like, is that new? To my orcas. My orcas I got done in March. I finished them in March, and is that new? I said, no, like I finished this in March. I started it a few years ago. You would have seen it when it was an outline. And he's like, no. And I'm like, yeah. They're funny. They're in grade 8, right? I teach middle schoolers, so. But they're all very fascinated, which I am both like, you know, I'm one of those people that they're like, oh, as soon as I turn 16, I'm going to get a tattoo. And I'm like, oh, guys, don't do it. Because what I wanted at 16 was not what I ended up getting. The roses were. But the roses I designed and then put up on my wall. And that's the advice I give to them. I'm like, listen, when you decide what you want, print it out, put it up on your wall. Wait till you're 18, because then you can sign for your own tattoo. You don't have anyone to blame but yourself. And see if you can stare at that design that you put up at on your wall for 2 years, because it's going to be on your body for the rest of your life. So that's what I tell them, and they're like, oh, you know, some of them think I'm not cool after that, but most of them kind of like get it, which is nice. But yeah, off topic. It's a Friday that I'm doing this voiceover, so I just can't wait for the weekend. So, one of the things that I was looking for when I was looking for a traveler's notebook for myself, was I loved the front pocket. Hand Stitch Leather Tea does the front pocket a lot, and so does Bujo Planner. And I love the front pocket. But when I was looking, and so does Bassie & Co. actually, but when I was looking at all the TNs with front pockets, they didn't have the inside pocket configuration that I wanted. And I don't know, like I just couldn't find what I wanted. So that's really why I'm making my own, is that I couldn't really find what I wanted. I knew I wanted a front pocket. I love the way Bujo Planner does a raw edge, so I decided to do a raw edge. I wanted the front pocket across the full length of the front of the traveler's notebook, so that's what I did. I just grabbed a raw edge. I completely eyeballed this. I had a drawing of what I wanted it to look like, but for this front pocket, I didn't have any sort of like template or anything, just eyeballed it. And it's kind of like halfway down, maybe. Yeah, it's about half of the length of the traveler's notebook. So I just rounded that one corner. I left the corner closest to the spine the way it was. I knew it would be easier to stitch that way, so I just left it. But yeah, so I knew I wanted a front pocket. I decided that I wanted a raw edge, but I knew I wanted card slot sleeves on the inside. So this is actually my husband, and I'm sorry for the shaking of the camera, but my husband helped me because I could not poke through the holes, and it's because we were using that little dinky hammer. I went and got the big hammer, and it was much easier. So yeah, so the leather kit comes with the hole punch, and I have another hole punch too, so I've used this before, but the dinky hammer did not work. Go get you a real hammer. After my husband got the holes in the pocket for me, I just kind of slit in card slots. I wanted card slots because I like to have like my stencil on me. I like to have some journaling prompts on me. I like to have some business cards, just like little things. And any of my sticker sheets are like a business card size. So I knew I wanted card slots, but I don't use them all the time. So I didn't need like the fancy cascading pockets. I didn't need like another layer of leather to make pockets or anything like that. I just knew I wanted some card slots so I could slide some card-sized items in them. So basically I made a hole on either side of the length of a washi card that I wanted, and then I just slid it from hole to hole. So maybe I'll get an up-close picture of my card slots and insert it. Maybe I might not. Maybe I'll show you guys in the video. I can't remember now. It's been a couple days since I've filmed and made this, that I'm doing this voiceover, but basically it's just a card slot with a hole on either side. That's it. And the hole on either side is basically just so it'll open a little bit wider. The card slot will open a little bit wider. So yeah. I had a really hard time like getting the leather to slice all the way to the hole. I was really worried that I was gonna like cut too far, but I didn't. It was nice. And I love that little scar on this piece of leather. I love leather with some character. It's funny, on my front pocket, I didn't realize that there was like a smattering of like, it looks like bug bites, but I just love it now. I just look at it all the time. But yeah, so I grabbed some binder clips to keep my pockets where I wanted them. This worked and didn't work for me. You have to keep moving the binder clips, but I don't see another better way to do it, honestly. And it's just kind of like a thing to get you through, and it kind of did what I needed it to. It kind of didn't. So while I was doing this, I tried to think of how I was going to explain this in this voiceover, the stitching, because I watched a video, which I'm going to have linked below. I cannot remember the YouTuber's name, but I'll have it linked below as like stitching video, and she taught me how to stitch. So these pronged, again, go get you a real hammer. These pronged thingies, they're sharp, they're for threading, and they're for making your holes to see where your threads go. So you do this all the way around. I found it was much easier to poke holes through the actual leather side and not the skin side. Don't know why. It went all the way through when you poked it through the skin side. I struggled really hard when I started. This is all a learning curve. Like, just try something, and if it doesn't work, try something different kind of thing. I'm sorry about the camera shaking again. But, yeah, so basically I just did this all the way around. I started with the pocket. I wanted to do one pocket at a time. These are all the tools that I ended up getting. Yes, that is a rubber glove. It made it so much easier to pull through. But basically, so for stitching, the girl that I watched says you put a needle on either end. She has a curved needle and a straight needle. I tried the curve needle. The curve needle works great if you only have one layer of leather. It works like shit if you have more than one. So on my spot where I had my front pocket and my side pocket, I had 3 layers of leather and it was shit. So the way she does it is she threads her needle. And this is the shittiest footage I've ever seen. I don't know what happened. I filmed it on my husband's video, and when I had to transfer it, it transferred like this. But I'm just going to keep talking, and you guys can ignore the screen completely. But for threading, she threads it all the way through, so the half mark of the string is in the hole that you're going to start at. So she puts one needle through, threads it through, lines the thread up. And basically what she does is she puts one through one way and the other through the other way. I didn't do that because I only really liked my straight needle. So I took the straight needle and I did all the way around one way. And then when I was done, I met up with the other end of the string. I took the needle off the end of the string, put it on the other end of the string, and threaded it through the other way. Now, this is supposed to be me putting my elastic in my TN. I ended up having to take this elastic out because it was the crappiest elastic I've ever... I bought the wrong elastic. It's like soft. I don't know. It's not TN elastic. But I took this out and took the white elastic out of my traveler's notebook from Miami Notes and put that in. But I had to watch a video to figure out how to string this elastic, so that's why I filmed on my husband's phone, and for some reason his phone wouldn't airdrop. I will link that video down below too, because no matter how many times I string a traveler's notebook, I still can't get it. So this girl that I'm watching has a video for every type of traveler's notebook with every type of hole and every type of string. So I'm going to link that down below as well because my footage sucks and I'm sorry, but I just need this in here so I can keep talking. But yeah, so I strung it through and I tied it off. And I have everything sewn. Like I said, my fingers hurt so bad. I will never sew these because my fingers hurt so bad afterwards. It was ridiculous. But yeah, if you want to see kind of my new traveler's notebook in its everyday life, you can go follow me on Instagram. I'll put a link to my Instagram down below. I'm really proud of this thing. It was my first leather creation. My father is a carpenter and my mom is really creative too. She's a CEO of a software company, but she's really creative. But I brought this over to them because I'm an only child and I like to be spoiled and I like to be proud of. So I brought this over and I was like, look what I made. And my mom's first response was, well, no, you bought that. And that just made me feel really, really good. So I like it. I'm proud of myself. All right, so we're going to change now to tabletop. So here obviously is some better footage of the finished product. Again, I switch out that white elastic out of my Miami Notes traveler's notebook and put it in there. But yeah, I think it turned out really, really good. I love it. It's super heavy, but it's like a good heavy. In my TN, I have booklets. When I was setting this up, I was in complete booklets. I did have my bullet journal with me, but like I said, again, I'm gonna reiterate, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you will know that my weekly spread for this week was horrible. It was so cute. It was super duper cute, but it was not functional at all. And I was like putting things in and I was like questioning where I needed to put things in. So that would have it would have not worked. So I pulled out one of the inserts, the weekly inserts that I made. So I did just kind of have it set up solely like a traveler's notebook. I also wanted to try it out. I was having a hankering of like getting out of my bullet journal and trying the traveler's notebook, but like it really only lasted 4 days. I'm back in my bullet journal already, and I just kind of took that insert and like stuck it in the middle of my bullet journal. So, you know. So one thing I will say about the card slots is that things will slip in. Like the thing that I have in the top pocket, if I push that in all the way, like it'll go all the way down. Like it'll just go through. Like there's nothing to stop it in the back of the pocket. So, you know, you have to fight those battles. You have to pick and choose. And I just have that traveling card. Oh my goodness. Journaling card. I have some stickers. This configuration does change what I have in the front pockets here. And I was just doing some playing around. It does fit in here. With the pen loop, it's kind of tight. Like, I think I would cut off the pen loop on my traveler's notebook. Or not my, oh my goodness gracious. I would cut the pen loop off my bullet journal. That's when you know that you should stop doing the voiceover. Yeah. I would cut the pen loop off my bullet journal because it kind of like stops it from going all the way in. So when you close the traveler's notebook, it's not flush. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. It's flush when you put it in the front. I just don't like having it in the front. So, my bullet journal is currently on 2 strings. I have 1 string in the back cover and 1 string in the front cover. And then I have my little perpetual calendar on the very, very front string. And it works really well. I have my mild liners in that front pocket because I've been needing my color coding system. And I had it in my Hobonichi drawer pouch. And I don't bring my drawer pouch with me, but I think if I cut the pen loop off my Dingbats notebook and maybe even like the elastic, I'd be able to get it all the way in. But the pen loop meets up specifically where the pen loop on my TN is like sewn in, so it's weird. But yeah, I have my perpetual calendar in there. I do have my self-care workbook in there as well, and I actually have, like I said, that little tiny weekly one in there as well. When I do this though, it doesn't close like I like it. See what I mean? So yeah, I definitely didn't keep it this way. And the pockets change, but I think as planner people, we switch around quite a lot, so there's my February sneaky peeky. Yeah, that's the weekly that wasn't working for me. So yeah, I try a couple things, and I did try a couple things. I tried my bullet journal that I start in July in there. I tried my Hobonichi cousin in there. I tried just my inserts in there. I've made a few inserts on Silhouette Studio and printed them out, and you know, I've been experimenting, and I think that's okay. At the end of the day, I have something that's functional for me, and it's this bullet journal, but I do experiment, I create, and I loved creating this traveler's notebook and the rest of them too. So yeah, I'm glad you guys were along for the ride. I hope this helped you even a little bit. I hope it was entertaining. I hope you liked it. I hope it was different. And I really hope you'll come follow my real life journey over on Instagram. I hope to see you there. All right, y'all. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.